This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into the happy hour. We're back on a Monday. Nick Sainert and Rico with you. What's up, man?
Hello.
How was the weekend?
Not great.
Yeah, that's right. You guys were a little under the weather.
I spent all weekend on the couch or in bed.
I was gonna say that doesn't sound too bad.
Or on the toilet.
Okay, that sounds bad. That sounds bad.
Slash head in the toilet.
Head in the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was just a great weekend for me.
I'm sorry. I'm glad it's over.
So am I.
So now you can get back to work this week, and then are we going to relax this
Get
weekend?
back to work like I ever left.
Well, I mean, in a way, you left on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, you're right.
Are we able to relax this next weekend?
What
do we have going on?
I don't know. There's probably something. Rachel's got the schedule. Shout out to my wife. She
shout out
knows
to
everything.
Rico's wife.
She knows everything. Rachel knows everything. She
takes care of everything.
Yeah, pretty much. She'll just be like, "Hey, we got this." And I'm like, "Cool." I just show up.
You just show up.
Yeah, she schedules it all. She gets the kids ready. I'm just here. I'm just a pretty face.
Something like that. I was curious. I was just looking at your hair because it's about time for a fresh cut.
It's been past time.
It's
for
about
a fresh
that
cut.
time, and I don't mean that in a mean way either.
I might get it tomorrow.
Okay.
I might just cut it all off.
I got something scheduled for Thursday.
Yeah, I know.
So
I might just cut it all off. Honestly, I might just get rid of it.
We're
getting towards warmer weather.
I'll be honest.
Hopefully.
So I'm a little nervous.
I think
because my normal barber on Thursday is unavailable.
Ooh. Go to mine.
And so, no.
Why?
So I'm going to a different barber within the same spot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Go to mine.
Oh, okay. I've already scheduled it. It's not because your guy was busy as well. So I'm going to somebody else in there that I'm comfortable with.
Okay.
But I'm not worried that my haircut, or I'm not even getting a haircut. I'm getting it just basically like cleaned up and lined up and stuff, and I'm getting the straight edge razor and stuff. But anyway, I'm worried that my guy's going to be in there and be like, "Yo, Nick, like what?
You're busy.
What are you doing?
This is the only time I could come. You're busy.
Okay.
That's all you got to do.
I mean, because he's booked the entire week.
Yeah.
There was not even like an afternoon available.
Tell him. You should.
I'm a little worried he's going to be thinking I'm cheating on him.
You know what you?
And I don't want that.
You know what you should do? You should get a day that like works for you, and just like every couple of weeks, just tell him like, "Hey, this day I don't want to schedule.
Man,
this day I'm coming in at this time. Like this is my time."
I don't know if I don't know if I've reached that point.
Do you think
to
you have that pull yet?
Our barber client relationship.
Does anybody on the text line have a barber that they can just like call or just like
that's
text
not
or
your
just be
family
like,
member?
Yeah, that's not a family member.
Because
that you can just
that's
be
the
like,
thing.
"Hey, this is the time," and you're just like a regular. Like you have a time, a date where you go in and you get your hair cut and you guys just talk.
Because Cheeseburger says my wife doesn't mean buzz cut, and Cheeseburger, that's great. And I wish I had a family member that could cut my hair the way that the guys do.
My uncle used to cut my hair. He's pretty good at it.
But
now he's in Omaha, and I am not.
You're not driving to Omaha.
No, I am not.
So I don't know. So yeah, Wet Blanket says, I don't generally recommend getting married young, but the more I hear about Rico's wife, the best thing he has ever done is locking her down while he was still young.
You ain't wrong.
When did you guys get married?
2017.
So 7 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Going to be 7 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And you're about to turn 30.
Yes.
Wow. Look at you.
Yeah.
Married real young.
Damn straight.
Nice.
We were dating for 4.5.
Okay, so there was a good.
Yeah, we met our freshman year of college.
Good.
And then I was in college for 5 years.
Hey, no judgment. No judgment from this side of the table, Rico.
So yeah,
402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Sutter Heyman text line. Both those open for you guys the entire show today. Got a good one planned. Obviously, first day of spring ball, so we'll kind of just recap everything that went on that Matt Rule talked about. Obviously, I mean, you guys know this by now. A couple guys have left the program. A couple are suspended, if you will, and then a couple just interesting stories and position changes along that front as well. Now, and we're also going to be joined by Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska at 1:30 to kind of talk all things ahead of a very, very crazy recruiting weekend coming up as well for Husker football. Rico, but before we do that,
Yes.
we mentioned it last week about how electric and insane and wild the World Baseball Classic is. And I will say, give the folks credit because it's a tough spot. And DP actually texted me something about this too. The World Baseball Classic is in a tough spot because it falls in between March Madness for both men's and women's basketball. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of worry about the eyeballs and the amount of people that would be paying attention to the World Baseball Classic. I'm hearing more about the WBC this year than I have ever.
Yes.
And maybe that's because USA is prominently in it.
Well, the last time Team USA
they won it,
and Puerto Rico were in the championship game.
Yep.
And I'm hearing more about it this year than I was even then.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
and they're, again, two great teams.
Here we are, and if you guys haven't noticed, the United States is in the World Baseball Classic championship game on Tuesday. They will play the winner of Mexico and Japan. Those two teams play tonight at 6 p.m.
Freaking Mexico.
But here's the deal. Yeah, Rico's mad because Puerto Rico's out of it. And
Randy Arozarena isn't even Mexican.
But it doesn't matter.
That's ridiculous.
He's there.
It's ridiculous. He shouldn't have made that catch because he shouldn't have been on the team.
Shouldn't have been on the field.
He shouldn't be there. He's Cuban.
Either way, I don't even
He played in Mexico for years. The reason he got his Mexican citizenship, he played in Mexico in the professional leagues for a couple of years, and he convinced the president of Mexico or whatever to grant him citizenship so he could play for Team Mexico. It's ridiculous. Randy, no. All right? Ridiculous.
I was wrong about your anniversary time as well. And the worst part is that you agreed with me. So Mailman Dan says, Nick got that ticket, math skills. Rico married in 2017, and Nick says that means you'll be married for 7 years this year. The worst part, I don't know, Mailman Dan. Thanks for pointing that out. So it'd be 6 years.
It's almost 7.
But here's the deal, Mailman. Is it worse that I mathed it wrong, or is it worse that Rico was like, yeah, 7 years?
I know the date. It doesn't matter how many. I know.
I
know the day. I know the year and the day and the month we got married.
I think
I can math it out at the time.
Although
I didn't need to math it out in that quick instance.
Although it's bad for me to say 7 when it was really 6.
I was like, yeah, sure.
I think it's worse that
we've
you
been
agree
together
with me
for
on
a
that
lot
one.
longer than that anyway, so it's fine.
But no, anyway, the World Baseball Classic is wild right now. So the U.S. beats Venezuela on Saturday night by a score of 9-7. Mm-hmm. And in that game, Trey Turner, who after this weekend is known as the second coming of Jesus.
That's what you said.
Jesus number 2.
Jesus number 2
is Trey Turner.
Jesus 2.0.
And I would never have said that when Trey Turner was with the Nationals, sorry DP, or when he was with the LA Dodgers. Mm-hmm. Now Trey Turner is with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Is he the new Captain America? Has he taken that
Maybe
from Mike Trout?
No.
Was Mike Trout
quite.
Captain America?
I don't know. I'm not good with nicknames, current nicknames.
Whoever was the hero of the last World Baseball Classic was Captain America.
Adam Jones.
Adam Jones.
Yeah.
Has Trey Turner taken it?
Pretty close. I think so.
If they win it,
the
and
reason
he has another
why,
big hit.
Yes.
Okay.
The reason why is because in that game, the U.S. is down 7-5 in the later stages, and Trey Turner hits a grand slam in Miami to take a 9-7 lead over Venezuela, and the U.S. ends up winning.
That Venezuelan pitcher was strike. He came in, struck out one guy the inning before, so he had pitched a third of an inning. Mm-hmm. Came back. I think it was a hit, a walk, a hit by pitch, and the bases were loaded, and then could not hit his spots.
And then
left a meatball over the plate, and Trey Turner said, "Thank you very much." Nom 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 nom.
And then last night, the U.S. backs that up. They have a game against Cuba. They are down 1-0 to begin, and they end up exploding for a 14-2 victory over Cuba in the semifinals. Just nobody. I did not see this coming, but once again, it's so much fun to watch if you can find the time to squeeze it in between basketball games.
Just watch instead of basketball.
The reason why is it's so obvious that these guys won it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is very important.
Contrary to popular belief on Twitter, this is a very important tournament.
This is a big deal.
And these players love playing for their country.
So Trey Turner, though, last night against Cuba, hits another 2 or 3 run home run. And so Trey Turner is just on fire right now.
He's going to carry this over to the season.
There you go. Draft him number 1 in our fantasy baseball league.
Hopefully I get the number 1 overall pick. I'm taking Trey Turner.
So anyway,
is that blasphemous, or should I take Aaron Judge?
USA beats Cuba 14-2 last night, and like I said, they advanced to play on Tuesday evening against the winner of Mexico and Japan.
They're going to play Japan.
You think Japan?
They're going to play Japan. And
Yeah.
Shohei is going to throw.
Shohei.
Have you seen him? He's throwing 100+ miles an hour.
Not surprised.
Disgusting. He doesn't do that in the MLB. You know why? Because he's playing for Japan. He's playing with his boys. He doesn't care about anybody in Los Angeles.
I think it's possible that his teammates on the Angels could be his boys too.
He's playing with his boys in Japan. All right. Nobody on the Angels knows Shohei like those guys do.
So I'm curious how much tickets for like the World Baseball Classic would be.
I don't know, but I can tell you viewership for the pool play.
Oh, we love these texts. Unnamed texter says, "You're talking about baseball the day after the first weekend of the tournament? What is wrong with you?"
Because it's the World Baseball Classic, unnamed texter.
Also, we've talked about the tournament a ton, and we'll get to it here in a moment, but this is exactly what I'm saying. Now, World Baseball Classic gets overshadowed by the March Madness of both men's and women's. Mm-hmm. And we'll dive into that here in a second, because a number one seed went down in the women's tournament. Ole Miss beat Stanford. Mm-hmm. And then you had
it's because their best player was hurt.
You had multiple teams lose, including my national champion in Marquette, to Michigan State. Yes. So it's just trying to spread the wealth. Yeah. Spread the wealth a little bit.
The 2023 World Baseball Classic drew 1,010,999 fans for the first round of pool play, which is the most in its history, surpassing the 2006, 2009, 2013, and 2017 numbers.
Jeez.
A lot of eyes on the World Baseball Classic, including in Puerto Rico. I believe they said something around like over 60% of televisions in Puerto Rico were tuned in to watch Puerto Rico play Mexico.
Here's what's crazy. Tickets are sold out for the Mexico versus Japan semi.
Is that one in Japan, or did they move that one back here? Okay.
It is at Lone Depot Park in Miami.
Oh, okay, so they moved it back here. Okay. Because I know Japan's pool play was in Japan. That's where they were playing. So those teams had to go.
So now they're at Lone Depot because the final is in Lone. And that was something that was interesting with the U.S. thing. Real quickly before we get to break, is that there were concerns about the U.S. having a disadvantage playing in Miami against Cuba and against Venezuela. Mm-hmm. And so because there's going to be a lot of fans,
Miami is a massive Cuban hotbed in the United States.
So, somebody says, oh, here we go, a little bit of a text fight going on. The only tournament that mattered this weekend was wrestling. Nothing compares. Basketball. Dude. Oh, basketball is a dying sport.
I do not agree with that. But the NCAA wrestling tournament national championship was electric. Sean Lee going for a 4-time national championship.
Spencer Lee.
Sean Lee.
Yeah, not the linebacker.
Yeah, my bad.
Spencer Lee, the Iowa guy. His mom broke the glasses.
He was going
snapped him.
He was going for a 4-time national championship, back to back to back to back, and lost to a Purdue wrestler.
Yeah,
he beat in the Big Ten tournament, obviously, because he was the Big Ten champion. Lost to him, then medically forfeited.
Or in the semifinal, yeah.
Yeah, and then medically forfeited out of his final match, ending his collegiate career with a 4th place finish at nationals. And then Nebraska's wrestler, I'm spacing on his name for whatever reason.
Mikey
Labriola finishes as I think it was 3-time All-American. Gets pinned in the first round, unfortunately, by Purdue's wrestler who finishes as a 3-time national champion. So, I mean, it sucks to go out that way, But I mean, you're losing to a guy who's already done this twice.
I'm pretty sure Mikey also is a 5-time All-American.
5-time, not 3-time.
5-time All-American, which is really something special as well. So it was a really good weekend of sports, and there's a lot to touch on. But seriously, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Give the World Baseball Classic a chance.
Dude, everything is happening.
Because
at the same time,
everything's going on. And now the WBC, the World Baseball Classic, only happens every 4 years. So it's only going to happen, every 4 years that it falls on the NCAA tournament and stuff. But I mean, my goodness, I think it's getting more traction this year than it ever has before, and I'm sure part of that's with the evolving social media landscape as well. But man, it's been really, really cool story because it like we talked about last weekend. It's that playoff atmosphere with the best players in the world playing multiple games and in meaningful games in the month of March. So
I don't know what this text is trying to get at. There are more D1 wrestlers produced in Nebraska than basketball. That's cool.
Yeah,
I don't think that means basketball is a dying sport. That just means that wrestling is very popular in the state of Nebraska, which it is.
It's good in the Midwest.
Wrestling and volleyball.
Yeah, wrestling's a good sport in the Midwest.
And
also,
softball.
high school wrestling's fun to watch too.
Oh, it's electric.
Let's go to break. When we come up next or come back, we'll be joined by Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. Talk all things Huskers. We got a big recruiting weekend this weekend as well. If you're in the city of Lincoln, and there's a couple interesting and updated notes from Matt Rule this morning. We'll dive into all that and more coming up with Steve of Inside Nebraska after this.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
The Nebraska Lottery has given over $900 million back to our state since 1993. It's gone to improve our environment, education, and state fair.
Over $900 million? That's something.
I'll say.
Hey, I have a great idea for a commercial. Have someone count to 900 million out loud.
That would take 28 years. Not a good idea.
I don't know, with a little background music and some sound effects.
There's another studio down the hall. Why don't you get started?
The Nebraska Lottery, 30 years of building a better Nebraska.
The Nebraska Lottery has given over $900 million back to our state since 1993. The proceeds have helped protect and improve Nebraska's environment, funded need-based scholarships for Nebraska students, and maintained and improved facilities at the state fair.
That's terrific. You should put that on your website.
It already is. Just click on beneficiaries in the menu.
Menu? You guys serve food too?
Maybe you should get off your feet for a while.
The Nebraska Lottery, 30 years of building a better Nebraska.
Guys, when I first started with Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, I weighed in at over 300 pounds. Now, less than a year later, I'm under 200 pounds for the first time since high school. I'm stronger, I'm healthier, and it all began with the Farrell's 10-Week Challenge. 10 weeks of kickboxing, strength training, and guided nutrition coaching to help you reach your fitness goals. Their next 10-week challenge begins on April 8th. If you're wanting to change your life like I have, head to theticketfm.com and click on Enroll Now on the homepage. Plus, get a promo code for a discount just for ticket listeners. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most. For all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
If you're not sure what your evening plans are and want to change things up, look no further than Craft Axe Throwing. Whether for a date night, an evening with friends, or even a private party, you're sure to make memories at Craft Axe Throwing. Trained instructors help make things easy to understand, and a stock bar makes it a great hangout spot. With 13 throwing lanes, there's plenty of opportunity to reserve your spot today. Choose the Lincoln location at craftaxethrowing.com to book a lane or call 402-802-9696. Craft Axe Throwing at 18th and N.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
This is a house of learned doctors.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
As soon as your eyes shut, I'm going to punch you square in the face.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico with you, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Sartor Heyman text line. We had some interesting developments from the Matt Rule press conference this morning, obviously the first day of spring football. And to talk about it, we bring in our good friend, Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska, the rival site for the Huskers. Steve, it's been a few weeks. How's life going, man?
It's going great. We finally had some real football to talk, not just what we think is happening. We got the head coach to talk about what was actually happening on the field. So that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun this morning.
Yeah, I mean, so it was kind of a newsy morning for day one of spring ball. I mean, obviously, maybe we expected some updates on attrition and guys that left the program and things like that. But out of everything on our bingo card, I think I was obviously most surprised with Anthony Grant wasn't allowed to practice this morning. And I mean, how big of a concern is it? It doesn't seem like Matt Rule's too worried about it, but in reality, how big of a hit is it?
So yeah, when I first heard that, I was kind of thinking to myself about it, and you never want to see like a 6-year guy be suspended. That just maybe screams immaturity to me. He's Anthony Grant. This is his third stop collegiately. Starting his career at Florida State, then going the JUCO route at New Mexico State Military Institute, and then here at Nebraska. And then you like I said before, you just don't want to see a veteran guy, an older guy. Basically, he's an adult right now. You don't want to see him, do the things that warrant him getting suspended and not being out there for the first day of spring ball. So that's disappointing. But, like you said, Rule didn't seem too concerned about it. I think we'll see Anthony Grant at some point. I don't really know when, but, this opens the door for other running backs, obviously, right now to make a good impression on the new coaching staff. And I think, guys like Gabe Ervin, who I really enjoyed listening to and learning about today. It was a really good thing for him to have Matt Rule basically give him the best shout out of the day, in my opinion, called him the star of the off season. That's really good for Gabe Ervin, because I think he's a guy that maybe gets forgotten about sometimes. But if you think back and remember him from 2021, he was a true freshman starter who beat out other older guys at running back before his season-ending knee injury in the fourth game at Oklahoma. So that was really good to hear about Gabe Ervin. But yeah, getting back to Anthony Grant, just disappointing that a guy that old and basically an adult makes some decisions that aren't the best and gets suspended. But again, that creates some opportunity for others in the running back room.
I mean, Steve, just kind of assess this running back room, because after we heard that Anthony Grant wasn't practicing today, and then we heard about Gabe Ervin, right? And A.J. Allen's still there. Ramir Johnson, who was the leading rusher in 2021, is still there. How do you assess and view this? Because, like, and maybe I'm wrong, Gabe Ervin looked bigger than normal last year, or excuse me, today when we saw him. He's put on a couple LBs, and we know what a healthy A.J. Allen in freshman form looks like, and we only expect the same, if not more, from him as he grows and gets more familiar with Nebraska and with college football. How do you assess this running back room as a whole? Because now, with Anthony Grant's situation somewhat up in the air, it becomes a little more interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I still view this as a really, really good running back room, and I still view it. I'm still picturing Anthony Grant in the discussion, because while he's not out there right now, I just think it's maybe something that we're going to see him in fall camp, and he's going to maybe have a better head on his shoulders and maybe go into the season more determined in doing everything the right way. Hopefully it's that case, but right now I'm still viewing it as a really good running back room with basically a three-headed monster I'm looking at right now, because I've always liked Gabe Ervin Jr. and I've always liked A.J. Allen. I did not expect A.J. Allen to have the type of freshman season that he did, and maybe stepping on a Big Ten field and looking like he belongs right away. That was really cool to see, and I'm still picturing Anthony Grant being a discussion point and being one of the main ball handlers during the season. But yeah, I mean, I'm a guy that really likes to follow these players on social media and see what they're up to in the off season. And if you follow Gabe Ervin Jr., he's a workout guy, right? I'm glad you mentioned what he looked like physically today, because it's super, super impressive. They list him at 6 foot and 215 right now on the roster. I mean, those weights aren't updated, and I really wish they are. I've been checking every single day to see if those weights have been updated, but they haven't. But yeah, Gabe Ervin Jr., Matt Rule said he's up to 222 pounds right now. So at 6 feet, 222, he has that Big Ten frame that you want to lean on in the second half, and especially in the fourth quarter. Just like Matt Rule said today, he views Gabe Ervin as a possible, wrecking ball, I think is the term. No, battering ram. Matt Rule said use the word term battering ram when talking about Gabe Ervin Jr. in the fourth quarter, where if you can get 75 yards out of your running game in the fourth quarter alone, that goes a long way of kind of sealing off wins and keeping your offense on the field and bleeding clock and keeping your defense off the field. So Gabe Ervin Jr., I think, had one of the better days out of the press conference today with that kind of shout out from the head coach. And yeah, we'll see what a healthy A.J. Allen can bring too, because I think he's got that home run speed, that game breaking speed, along with Ramir Johnson in there. So yeah, it was overall, I think Gabe Ervin was one of the more positive shout outs that Rule gave today.
From one position group that got a lot of love in the running backs and all those shout-outs to another one that is kind of in the same boat but a little bit different. The tight end room has a lot of bodies, but unlike the running room, not a lot of experience, at least at the University of Nebraska. You've got Eric Gilbert coming in. You've got Thomas Fidone, who apparently is upset with Matt Rule for limiting his snaps and limiting what he can do right now in the spring. And then you've got Nate Borkacher, who's coming back, and he has the most snaps out of all the tight ends in the room right now. A.J. Rollins and some of those other guys in there who have all of this talent and all of this hype surrounding them, but haven't seen the field. How do you feel about the tight end room, given that Fidone's not going to get a lot of run this spring?
Yeah, that's a great point, because I think back to when I was writing these position breakdown preview type things for Inside Nebraska, and when it came time for the tight ends, you look at the roster right now for tight end at Nebraska, and on paper they have like a 1-2 punch that could be the best in the Big Ten with Thomas Fidone and Eric Gilbert. But, we can't look at these things on paper. We need to see what these guys are going to do on the field. And on the field, there's not a lot of production recently, especially with Thomas Fidone. He only has a handful of snaps under his belt in his career. And then Eric Gilbert was the SEC all-freshman member when he was tearing things up at LSU in 2020, but the past two seasons after transferring to Georgia, it wasn't going well, and he was away from the team, then he was back, and then he was away from the team again last season at the end of it. So just an odd sort of odd events with Arik Gilbert and Georgia, but he's over here, and Matt Rule didn't talk. I tried to ask Matt Rule a little bit more, try to pry him a little bit more for more information on Arik Gilbert, but he didn't really want to say much. So that has me wondering something about Arik Gilbert. I wonder if he's out there full go and everything. But yeah, with Thomas Fidone, it was kind of funny because after hearing what Thomas was saying at the press conference about how badly he wants to be out there, and he's fully healthy and ready to go. Matt Rule is still going to be careful with these guys, and especially careful with guys who have ACLs in the past, and Thomas Fidone has had 2 of those. So Matt Rule said while Thomas Fidone is completely healthy and ready to go, he's just going to be smart and going to be limited. So yeah, you look at the rest down the roster, and you'd have to go with, I think, Nate Borkacher, the walk-on from Aurora, the former Husky. I think he's maybe the most the tight end that we know the most about, and we know what we can get from. I think he's a pretty solid blocker in the run game, and I think he's a capable receiver in the pass game. But then we also talked about Chris Hickman is off the team, James Carney is off the team. Then you keep going down the line, and then now you're wondering about AJ Rollins. What can he go? Can he take another step forward? And then we start listening to, good things said about, Janarin Bonner, the former receiver from Georgia, who has always looked physically impressive. He looks like a sophomore in the SEC, but he's working as kind of a hybrid tight end, which Marcus Satterfield used a lot during his play calling days last year at South Carolina. With he kind of reminds me of a possible Jaheim Bell type player. If anybody watched any Gamecock football games from last year, as kind of an undersized but still really athletic guy that can maybe line up in the slot or line up as an H-back a little bit in the backfield and take some handoff season. So there's a lot of different bodies, but again, there's not a lot of proving guys there, which maybe raises some questions, and rightly so.
Steve, couple more before we let you go. We're talking to Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. Most intriguing transfer in to Nebraska for you ahead of spring ball?
It's got to be Chief Borders for me. Oh, actually, can I give you 2?
Yeah.
It's kind of a 1A, 1B with me. So
Gotcha.
I'm going Chief Borders because Nebraska got some interesting transfers on defense. I think Chief Borders is one of those perfect linebackers, hybrid linebackers for a 3-3-5 that Tony White is wanting to run here. I think Chief Borders is capable of playing right next to Luke Reimer on the inside. I think he's capable of rocking down to the line of scrimmage during some offensive sets, depending on what the offense shows, personnel-wise and formation-wise. I think Chief Borders can rock down to the line of scrimmage and play on the outside shoulder of an offensive tackle and be one of those edge-type players. I think he's just built extremely well at 240 pounds that he can do a little bit of both. And we all know how fast Chief Borders is. Just watch some of his special teams highlights at Florida. And then on the offensive side, I really, really, really like and enjoy watching what a healthy Billy Kemp can do at receiver. Billy Kemp is a guy who spent 5 seasons at Virginia. He holds some records there for receiving and total yardage and those kind of things. But he has experience lining up in the slot. He has experience lining up on the line of scrimmage on the outside as an X receiver. He has experience in the backfield taking handoffs. He really gives me at 5'8", 5'9", 180 pounds. He really reminds me of what Wan'Dale Robinson showed in his college career. So I'm really excited. I think Billy Kemp is a potential, star in this offense if everything goes correctly. If the offensive line gets it together and whoever the quarterback is has time to throw the ball, I think Billy Kemp can lead this offense in receptions and maybe passing yards. He's not going to burn anybody down the field. He's not going to blow the top off the defenses, but I think in short areas and then underneath routes and intermediate routes, I think Billy Kemp is going to be awesome.
You mentioned depending on who the quarterback is. I mean, we heard confirmation from Matt Rule today that Casey's not out there throwing right now. how big of a step up or how big of a jump is that for Jeff Sims, or advantage, I should say, for Jeff Sims, since he's the new guy on the block now and he has an opportunity to throw during spring when Casey doesn't?
It is an advantage. I can't say it's not an advantage. Anytime you can actually go out there able-bodied and be able to throw as much as they can in front of the coaches, it's got to be an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I'm wondering about is, we know that Matt Rule probably isn't going to name a starter in the spring. He probably wants some live bullets, to see how some of these guys react in live bullet settings with some scrimmages. And, I think we're going to go into fall camp with this competition being open because I think that they're going to give Casey Thompson a real chance to get out there once he's able to be fully cleared and throw the football and, be a quarterback out there. I think they want a good look at what a healthy Casey Thompson is. And, but you just can't deny that Jeff Sims has all the advantages right now. He's a hot shot transfer from Georgia Tech. He has some things to work on himself. He needs to take care of the ball. Marcus Satterfield was recently in an interview talking about what he wants from his quarterbacks, and the first thing he says was ball security. Jeff Sims threw 23 interceptions in 3 seasons at Georgia Tech, and he was very, very injury prone. He missed a lot of games too. So Jeff Sims has some things to work on, but being out there and being healthy and able to go right now, that's going to give him the leg up. But Casey Thompson, the way his football IQ is, his veteran leadership, he's just an older guy. I like to call him. I've told you guys this all the time. He just reminds me of an assistant coach out there. Yeah. He's like an 11th assistant coach on the field right now for you at quarterback. I just think the coaches, when you ask coaches what they want in a quarterback, the top thing always is experience, starting experience. Casey Thompson has experience, and he's a smart guy. He's a smart cat who really, I don't think will have any trouble learning Marcus Satterfield's offense and with the progressions that I think that, that offense is going to ask the quarterback to make and everything. I think that's right up Casey Thompson's alley. So this thing is going to go into the fall camp, deep into fall camp, yeah. I think.
Steve, last one before we let you go, we get to see our first look at practice on Thursday. Where are you going to be stationed? What are your eyes going to be on most?
Dang, I haven't thought about that. Probably, let's go with the offensive line, boys. Okay. How about the offensive line? Because I think back to what I've been writing at Inside Nebraska, and when I'm talking about the offense and when I'm talking about the quarterbacks and I'm talking about all these cool skill guys that Nebraska has, none of it's going to matter if the offensive line isn't better than last year, right? Yeah. So I want to see what Ben Scott looks like. Is he playing center? Now, Donovan Raiola is probably going to switch some guys around. It is the spring. This is the time to experiment with guys. That tackle depth, offensive tackle depth, is something that I'm kind of scared about. I want to see who's out there at tackle with Teddy Prohaska not being able to go. So I want to see where Turner Corcoran, the kind of Swiss Army knife who you can stick different places. I want to see where he's at. I just want to see who's out there in general, because the offensive line, we heard Matt Rule talk about the number of scholarships he likes to have with the offensive line. He mentioned 16. We count 13 right now. So they are light on bodies on the offensive line, especially at offensive tackle. I just go back to the offensive tackle position. That's going to be really one to watch. The guard positions, I like any combination at guard position. I think Nebraska, has some able-bodied guards, Nerd and Newelli. I'm really interested to see what he looks like out there after being suspended all last season. Mm-hmm. Ethan Piper looked very, very good today, in my opinion. He's worked on his body. That guy looks like a kind of a monster out there. So really interested in the offensive line. I think that'll be my answer.
Steve, got a long way to go. Start a spring ball today. Appreciate the time as always, man. We'll see you later this week.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Nick. Thanks for having me, Rico.
That is Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. Appreciate his time as always. Interesting stuff there. That the wide receiver room, Rico.
I forget about Billy Kemp.
So
and I feel like I shouldn't.
Here's where we're at. Nebraska has 15 scholarship wide receivers.
That's
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Excuse me. 14 scholarship wide receivers. Whew. Now, here's what's crazy. 6 of those 14 are true freshmen. That leaves you with Marcus Washington, Joshua Fleeks, and Billy Kemp. Tommy Hill is a question mark right now because he was not allowed to practice today.
Is he back to corner?
Wide receiver, DB, whatever one it is. So if it's without Tommy, if he's back at corner or back on defense, that makes you 13. So still as a question mark. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda.
Oh yeah, he's back.
Who comes back? Sean Hardy, who hasn't seen snaps. Xavier Betts, who's been out of football for a year. And Victor Jones Jr., who hasn't seen snaps.
Okay.
So that's where you're leaning heavily on Marcus Washington and Billy Kemp, I'd assume.
Yep.
And then your other transfer in Joshua Fleeks. Unless there's a true freshman, whether it's Malachi Coleman, whether it's Jalen Lloyd, Jaden Doss, Bryce. That takes a massive step forward, A.J. Allen-esque step forward, but in the wide receiver room rather than running back room, and has an opportunity to play some significant time on Saturday.
How many of those freshmen are here? I know Malachi.
That's another.
I know
that's
Malachi, Jalen, and I can't remember his name. The one down in Texas,
Bryce Turner
are not here.
Yeah,
because they're all finishing up track in high school.
That's what makes this much more fascinating. And we're not going to find answers at the end of spring ball, unfortunately. But that's going to leave a lot of speculation and curiosity because it's also. I mean, folks know this. Transfer portal is going to open up here at the end of spring, and you'll see more Husker names go in, and potentially more Husker names, or soon to be Huskers come out of that transfer portal, who will come to Lincoln. And it's, do they continue to look for depth in the wide receiver room? I don't know. There's a lot of questions that we won't get answered anytime soon for unfortunate reasons. Let's go ahead.
A little bit of breaking news. We'll hit this, and then we'll go to break.
Okay.
St. John's made their hire.
Is it Rick Pitino?
Rick Pitino is at St. John's.
There it is.
After 3 years at Iona. We'll talk with Austin.
Yeah.
Because he's back.
Austin's back from vacation. We'll talk to Mr. Orman coming up next when we talk college basketball right after this.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
March is a month of good luck. From epic runs in state basketball to watching Cinderella spring the upset in college basketball. And of course, St. Patrick's Day. Luck is on your side at Numbers 2 because their lot is full of great vehicles to take home. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride as summer road trips are just around the corner. Your luck starts this month at Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it is Truck Month at Koppel, and we are pulling out all of the stops for this gigantic event. The lots are starting to fill, and we have some great deals for you waiting in Louisville. Brand new GMC Sierra Light Duty and new Silverado Light Duty trucks. All trim levels have up to $4,000 in discounts. That's right, up to $4,000 off all new light duty trucks right now at Koppel, so do not wait. Now is the time to buy a new truck, so stop on in or visit us online at koppelcars.com. You must have a trade-in and finance with Koppel. All deals with approved credit.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most. For all your travel and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
If you're not sure what your evening plans are and want to change things up, look no further than Craft Axe Throwing. Whether for a date night, an evening with friends, or even a private party, you're sure to make memories at Craft Axe Throwing. Trained instructors help make things easy to understand, and a stock bar makes it a great hangout spot. With 13 throwing lanes, there's plenty of opportunity to reserve your spot today. Choose the Lincoln location at craftaxethrowing.com to book a lane or call 402-802-9696. Craft Axe Throwing at 18th and N.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment. equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Hey guys, Nick Sainert here, and I want to tell you about my friends at Spine and Sports Chiropractic. I experienced a herniated disc in my lower back a few years ago, and thanks to the folks at Spine and Sports, I got back to feeling 100%. At Spine and Sports, they use the active release technique, which involves the soft tissue and can alleviate headaches, shoulder pain, plantar fasciitis, and more. What I like most about the ART method is that your doctor will construct a plan that fits your needs because the technique is not a cookie-cutter approach. Allow Spine and Sports Chiropractic to help you feel better. Set up your appointment today by giving them a call at 402-261-6841.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln by offering a number of services. From group homes for special needs adults to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the intellectual and developmental disability services your loved one needs to live a fulfilling life. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a more rewarding career, learn more about available positions. Learn more about services for your loved ones or employment today at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Guys, when I first started with Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, I weighed in at over 300 pounds. Now, less than a year later, I'm under 200 pounds for the first time since high school. I'm stronger, I'm healthier, and it all began with the Farrell's 10-Week Challenge. 10 weeks of kickboxing, strength training, and guided nutrition coaching to help you reach your fitness goals. Their next 10-week challenge begins in April. If you're wanting to change your life like I have, head to theticketfm.com and click Roll Now on the homepage. Plus, get a promo code for a discount just for ticket listeners. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Another mild and breezy day. South winds gusting to near 25, but we should reach an afternoon high of 61 with just a few passing clouds. Increasing cloud cover tonight. A low down to 39. We'll see a chance of showers tomorrow and be cooler as we'll reach a high of around 52. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
Look at him and tell me that's the God.
Then Enrique Alvarez Clary.
He made me in his own image.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in to the Happy Hour. Nick, Rico, and now Austin joining
who's
you.
back.
Fellas, how we doing?
Welcome back from vacation. How was it?
Thank you. It was good.
Spring training was good?
Yeah. Really good weather. Shocking for Arizona,
Yeah.
I know. Apparently it had been cold and actually slightly rainy for Arizona.
Oh.
We come in, it's 70.
It was like,
All
now
day.
you've had
It was
enough.
nice. We had one day where it sprinkled at the evening game we went to, Royals-Reds. But other than that, perfect.
You should tell people the sad situation you found yourself in when you first got there. About the World Baseball Classic.
Oh, yeah. So we get off the airplane, and within like hour and a half, 2 hours, we're going to go to a Royals game.
Okay.
So we go straight from the airport to In-N-Out. Actually, I had my first In-N-Out experience.
Overrated.
How was that?
It was fine.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
It was fine.
Thank you.
I didn't do animal style, even though I thought about it.
Yeah, it's fine.
What is that?
It's like just their like sauce and cheese.
Yeah,
on
it's like
fries.
all the. I think there's bacon that comes on. It's like bacon bits.
Sounds like too much.
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer in sometimes you can do too much.
It sounds like too much. Okay.
Right. So I didn't try that, but solid enough burger. Fine.
Yeah.
Fries were fine.
Super cheap, so it's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get to the Royals game, watch that. Some family friends were also in Arizona at the same time, but they're going to the World Baseball Classic at Chase Field.
No.
Some of us wanted to go. Some of us didn't want to go. Given that it was a travel day, given that we were going to see a couple more baseball games, we decided against it.
Shoot.
It was USA-Mexico. So USA lost that one. But I'm going. I'm there.
I would go in a heartbeat. USA making a move. I'm excited.
Dude, they're making
so people don't know. I'm filling in for Strick today. And I'm excited because Austin's a baseball guy as well. So
we'll
I'm
talk
pumped for
WBC.
this.
Don't worry.
Yeah, people got mad because we were talking
we were
WBC,
talking WBC
rather than the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. And I was saying the WBC has gotten so much traction this year.
I need a Francisco Lindor jersey.
So the WBC, at least in my mind, got traction when the U.S. won it.
Yep.
Watching that team, Adam Jones's catch,
Yep.
Eric Hosmer for some reason starting over Paul Goldschmidt, which will always be funny.
Stupid.
Marcus Stroman doing his thing.
Yep.
That was fun. That's like I knew the World Baseball Classic
Marcus
existed.
Stroman,
Marcus Stroman now pitching for Puerto Rico.
Yeah, shout out to the Cubs though.
That's the first time I really remember the World Baseball Classic being a big deal.
I agree.
But now here we are, a few years later. It's a huge deal.
It is massive.
Guys love to play in it, and it's awesome. We need it.
That's the best part. That's the best part about it is that the guys, the all-stars, the best players in the game won it bad.
Yes.
Bad. And they show they're not afraid to show the emotion. On the Trey Turner home run against Venezuela, every single person from training staff to the manager Mark DeRosa jumped out of the dugout.
Didn't walk
and
up the
was
steps.
freaking
Jumped.
out.
Can you imagine? So first off, doing that and then meeting Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, Paul Goldschmidt, like all those guys at the plate. It's not an all-star game, and you're high-fiving, just super excited. Everybody's yelling in your face, going into the dugout, and who's waiting for you? Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah,
your childhood hero.
Like, come on,
it's the one foul ball you've caught in
It's
your lifetime.
unreal.
Yeah, like come on.
It's unreal. Do we need to pause 10 seconds?
Yeah, we
let's
do.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the happy hour.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, so there's been a couple dominoes fall for college basketball. First one was Ed Cooley. He leaves, where am I thinking? Providence, thank you. A place he's from, Providence.
Alma mater.
And ends up taking the job at Georgetown after Patrick Ewing got fired. And so here's what's wild about that one real quickly. Ed Cooley, the one of the snags that it was being reported was could he stand allowing the people that from his own home, his alma mater, could he stand and handle people not happy with him there, right?
Right.
And so eventually, I suppose so, because he ends up taking the job at Georgetown, and then just a couple minutes ago, Rick Pitino has agreed to a 6-year deal to become St. John's men's basketball coach.
Is Cooley's finalized, or are they still working on it?
Nope.
Okay.
Georgetown says, "Welcome to the district, Ed Cooley."
Got it. Awesome.
Thoughts?
Big East is back.
Do we like a big? So okay, sorry to
Even
interrupt.
though he left Big East.
Sorry,
Big East.
yeah, no, sorry to. Oh, that's interesting as well. Sorry to interrupt here. What's crazy? Look at the last 48 hours or so for the Big East. Creighton's in the Sweet 16. Xavier's in the Sweet 16. You've had
UConn in the Sweet 16.
UConn and Xavier under first-year head coach is in the Sweet 16. You have this has been a really good couple of days for the Big East.
The Big East is a power basketball conference. It's not the old Big East, but the Big East was already good. It was already fun. It's about to be the Catholic Big 12.
Shout out to the Big
It's going
Catholic.
to be. Absolutely. I mean, the Big East is already fun. It's going to get even more fun. Even like those bottom-tier teams. Like outside of DePaul, which, again, being in Chicago, always a sleeping giant, but even like Tad Matta at Butler.
Yeah.
That's good.
People forget that Tad Matta's at Butler.
I did. People forget Sean Miller's at Xavier.
Yeah, Sean Miller in his first year.
And I'm going to say something crazy. I don't think the Big East coaching carousel's done.
I don't think so either.
Where? Who?
I think it'll hit close to home.
Yep, I agree. Ooh. Austin and I have found out that we've been given the same information.
Interesting.
So,
Very interesting.
Hit close to home.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Is that how close are we talking? Half a state away, a state away?
How many miles?
We could. It could be either one. If you throw Notre Dame into that mix.
Right. Let me get back to you in about 45 minutes for how close to home.
There it is.
It's gonna be all
west.
Yeah.
Goner.
That way.
Goner High School.
Oh no.
Goner High School is just shocked after they lose their head coach to.
What in the world?
No, not again.
First Texas, now whatever school.
Jokes on you
whatever
guys.
school's hiring.
Doug Woodard isn't actually retiring. He's taking the Notre Dame job.
Dang. That's brutal.
Good hire.
Yeah.
Great hire.
Yeah.
7-time state champ. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's
That's
go.
crazy. But anyway, okay, sweet. What do we got coming up on the show?
Oh, we got a lot. To placate the people, we will talk some March Madness. I was still watching, even though I was on vacation. Plenty of that to get to. Husker Spring Ball starts today. If I would have taken the best of both brackets, I'd be in really good shape.
Yeah.
But I pick half the upsets in one, half the upsets in the other. So it kind of balances out.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Okay, so what do we got here?
Husker Spring football. What's the buzz? Departures, additions, that sort of thing. Kyle Tucker, who covers Kentucky for The Athletic, had an interesting post about big guys in college basketball.
Okay.
And their teams, specifically relating to the NCAA tournament. Some of the key big guys, where their teams went out in the tournament. What does that mean for Nebraska in terms of building a team for next season? You're playing the shootout.
I am playing the shootout.
Shootout with Nick.
Yep. It's going to be a good one.
It's still close.
It is. Speaking of Kentucky and big man, Sheboy had himself a weekend.
Sheboy.
Big Oscar.
Oscar. Big O. Yeah. Not
Big
Robinson.
O. Wonder.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
Undersized O.
the new Big O. Anyway, had 25 rebounds in one game, I think it was.
First player in
the first
NCAA
half.
history to have 15 or more rebounds in each of his first 3
That's
NCAA
ridiculous.
tournament games.
Ridiculous.
Which his first 3 NCAA tournament games have all come in separate years.
No big deal.
But that's okay.
That's not weird.
All right. We got about a minute left here. Good
Speaking
show.
of nicknames and things like that, not really nicknames, but Houston's big man with 6 blocks breaks the NCAA record from takes it from can't think of a name right now, and I feel like a terrible person. Houston's Hall of Fame center.
Hakeem?
Yes.
Hakeem, yeah.
I don't know why I couldn't think of Hakeem. That was bad.
That's okay.
That was very
He's
bad.
no Derek Lively, though.
No, he's not.
All right, sounds good. I feel like Colin Cowherd coming at Michael Jordan, saying he failed at baseball. You failed.
It's all the mystique.
Yeah.
You take away Scotty and Rodman. If you take all
Michael
of his
Jordan's nothing.
If you take all of his failures and take away his accomplishments, he's garbage.
He's bad. He is bad. All right, we're getting out of here. Stick around. Stricken Myself is coming up next on the Block, but that'll do it for Rico. We will talk to you on the happy hour tomorrow.
Adios.